What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol PLAY for Dave & Buster's. On the left-hand side, we are looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First thing I need to make you aware of is that they did give us an earnings announcement after the bell today, so let's flip on the extended hours session and see what's going on with the numbers. So already, without zooming in, you could probably see that large green-bodied candle. I'm going to chalk this lower wick up to a fake print here inside of Thinkorswim. It tends to do that on earnings announcement, but anyways, we'll for the sake of today's video assume that we'll be opening on a gap up. Remember, a lot can happen between now and 9:30, but these numbers will act as a framework for what we're about to discuss, right? So basically, if the open is here around 37.64 and the overnight high is up here around 38.79, that's going to give us two levels to play off of as the bell rolls around at 9:30 tomorrow. So the first thing we'll do is take a look from the 30-minute perspective, scrunch this up so we can see that top number a bit. And whenever you're dealing with a gap up, you have to consider the fact that you could get a gap and trap or a gap and go. And usually we're looking for the gap and trap first, and then if proven wrong, it's the gap and go or sideways consolidation. So again, remembering if the open is here, if we fail to take out the overnight high and trade back down through the open, you're looking for a short to fill the gap to today's high, which is right here, right around 36. Let's throw an official level on that. That's at 36.12 to the penny to be exact for you. So that would be the downside case. And again, remember that as these two numbers get closer together, that's going to be be beneficial for the trade, right? It's going to enhance the reward that you get and minimize the risk, because obviously your stop is going to go over whatever high of day or overnight high ends up being when you trade short back down through the open. And quickly going over to the trade tab, you can see that you can short the shares here, easy to borrow, and there's a decent options chain here. Not the best actually on second thought. If I just look at some of these numbers here, not the best volume, especially at the money puts for the downside play anyways. So flipping back over to the chart to talk about the flip side scenario, which of course would be the gap and go, meaning that if we open here and consolidate in this range and then take out the overnight high, you're looking for upside continuation to bring us into the next major area from the daily perspective. So taking a look at that chart now, zooming in just a hair so we can see. I also really like, again, just make pretend with me, extend that line to the left, the fact that if we do something like this, we're kind of the overnight high, right? If that's the breakout point, it's coinciding with prior structure as well, which would just be, even better of a setup. So keep in mind 39 overhead as a breakout point if that scenario ends up panning out. But after that, what's the next area I'm really seeing as a target overhead? I would probably make the argument for this area right in here, around 42.50. You can see, prior resistance and then resistance on the small bounce before ultimately rolling over into this short-term downtrend. So that would be the number I would be watching out for. In the best case scenario, if it really gets running, maybe there's an argument to be made for it moving somewhere up here towards 47. But in all honesty, do you really think play here, Dave & Buster's, is going to put in a green daily bar that looks something like this? Not probable, but not completely off the table. Just sort of noting here that 47 would be the next structural area to really pay attention to as resistance to the upside. So those are my thoughts here. If it does move to fill the gap and lower, then you're just looking out for next daily support, which would of course be the low of day from today at 33.88. And then of course there's a semi floor down here towards 32, the round number. So those are my thoughts. It's all really going to depend on what happens with the gap up. Is it a gap and trap? So we get this short back down to the open, or is it the gap and go? Of course, as we discussed, consolidation here, breakout over 39. So if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something new, certainly let me know down below in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description. And all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.